It's a good AGam in Kansas morning. Good morning. Let's take a look and see what's coming up today. First, Dawn Dawson visits with Ann White of the Vermillion Valley Equine Center and how to get started in jumping your horse. Next, join us at the last corn production school, where Ignacio Ciampitti reports on the successes of this year's schools. Dan O'Brien with the Department of Ag Economics discusses the corn market outlook for 2016, and Doug Shoup talks about corn-soybean cover crop research at K-State. We'll end with a look at the current expansion phase of the beef industry. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hey folks, I'm Dawn Dawson with the Horsing Around segment of AGam in Kansas, and we are visiting with Ann White of the Vermillion Valley Equine Center near Wamego, Kansas, and you also have the Basement Tack Shop in Wamego. And we are going to talk about jumpers today with you, and we're thrilled to have you, Ann. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for finding me.
Yeah. Well, my question is, if somebody's wanting to get started in jumping, maybe first of all, what is jumping? I'm not an English person, so I don't always know the right terms, but I know there's words like hunter, jumper, and stuff like that. So tell us about what jumping is.
Well, in the jumping world, we have 3 categories of competition, and if you're riding a jumper, then it is a timed event, and you have to have the jumps all stay up. So you will get docked if you knock a pole over, and the excessive time as it goes along will penalize you for that. But you can jump in any kind of form that you want. If you're in the hunter classes, then they are going to judge you on your style, your way of going, your manners, and your classic form over the jump. And then the third division of jumping would be equitation, and that is judged on the rider and their horsemanship abilities and their position and their ability to make that horse perform to the cues.
Okay. So if I want to get started, I'm a barrel racer. So am I going to show up at your house to learn how to jump with my horse? What would I need to do?
I would suggest that if you want to learn how to jump, you seek out somebody like myself or a barn that has a professional and a program that you could go and take lessons. And I would probably tell you to leave your horse at home the first time and come and ride a horse that's schooled up in jumping and knows what to do, so that you're not trying to teach your horse at the same time that you're trying to learn how to do it. And then if things go well and you like it, then you can bring your horse and we'll teach you and the horse together.
Okay, so I like it. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
I'd like it. And I go home, I want to practice. I want to be a better jumper. Is there something I can do at home?
Well, absolutely. There's a lot of exercises that you'll learn in lessons to help your balance and help strengthen your legs. And, basic horsemanship is the same whether you're in an English saddle or a Western saddle. So a lot of the way that we communicate with the horse would be the same. So position's going to change a little bit in your balance, and we would give you exercises that you could do at home to help that for the next time that you came.
So if I wanted to jump on something, I wanted to try jumping stuff at home, what would I do?
Again, I would probably recommend that you, until you get a skill set on the jumping, that you do that with a professional. Certainly people will go home and set out straw bales or, logs and stuff like that. But there is a definite measurement system that we go by, and things are spaced a certain amount of feet. And so, and it makes a difference whether you're trotting, cantering, and how high the jumps are as to how far apart you would put the obstacles.
So I'm going to rely upon you to help me with how to practice.
Right.
Okay. So I really want to learn this, and I want to come back and get some more information from you, how to be a better jumper. And we're going to have another segment on equipment, and we'd like to do that next time around. We'll be talking with Ann, and we'll do that. So thanks for staying tuned to the Better Horses radio show. I'm Dawn Dawson, but also AGam in Kansas right here with the Horsing Around segment.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, Reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn, for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
To see this show and past episodes of AGam in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com. AGam in Kansas, brought to you in part by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
So we are here at the last corn school, corn production schools here in Kansas. And today we are Salina, Kansas, wrapping up kind of a very successful week of corn schools across the state. We were getting all our corn information to approximately 250 farmers plus, and we are excited just to wrap up all the schools. So main topics that we cover on the schools and questions that we have from farmers were from production, thinking about cutting or maybe optimizing seeding rates, thinking about next year and how we can maximize increase profits. We also talk about weed control and how we really can be more efficient using a pre and a post emergence, to trying to control those weeds and make sure that we maximize yields. Some of the big topics that we talk a little bit more about, how extension is evolving here at K-State, trying to also think about new tools, support tools for farmers, my fields, and also planting and harvesting tools that farmers can keep track of weather, and then trying to decide when is a very good timing for planting time. A few other topics on the insects, topics on disease, and also for sure, as always, we have economic, which was one of the big pieces of our schools. What is expected for the next coming months in terms of corn price, and then how China and South America are really changing or modifying the corn market. So what we are seeing for the next coming days and weeks, we also have some soybean schools, and then for tomorrow we have our last soybean school. It will be in Marysville, so we also are expecting several soybean farmers that they will be approaching us. As you see the programs on the corn versus the soybean schools, on soybean we are trying to also go with a similar approach, but with idea and identification on soybean that will have more very targeted topics, and also we have a farmer panel. And then for next week, we will go into inside of the last week of our crop winter schools. Next week we are going to a sorghum schools, 4 locations. We will start on Tuesday, February 2nd, and our first school will be at Scott City. From there we are moving on Wednesday, February the 3rd, to Phillipsburg. Then we'll go to Ellsworth on Thursday, February 4th, and then to finalize all these nice crop winter schools, we'll move to Emporia on Friday, on February 5th, with the idea of goal and trying to provide targeted and very specific information to our sorghum farmers across the state of Kansas. So if you're looking for sorghum schools, make sure to register. We have very different options for you to go ahead and register. You can call to your extension office and we will get someone for you, to make sure that we get your name and registration taken care of. You can also go online. If you go to the www.agronomy.ksu.edu, you will go to the e-updates, and then inside there you will find information about sorghum schools.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
I'm Dan O'Brien, Extension Agricultural Economist at Kansas State University. We spoke at the 2016 Corn School in Salina about corn market outlook for current year of 2016. Of course, the big challenge is that we're in the midst of very, very low prices right now, and a lot of, literally to a large degree, discouragement on ag producers' part of, with regard to the selling prices that they're dealing with at current cash prices of $3.25 to $3.10, probably $1 or more below their full break-even cost of production. So that's a pretty challenging situation. And of course, some people own their land outright, others may have low cash rents, others may have high cash rents. So the break-even thing's it's a varying target, but generally it's a pretty tight, low situation. So we talked about a number of the factors to look for this year as we go here from January through February, March, April, on through the growing season and into harvest that could affect the price of grain, and for ag producers give them a profitable selling opportunity. So that's what we spent quite a bit of time on. Did talk about the broader drivers also in the grain market, and really sort of encouraging folks to have a broader perspective of how neither profits nor losses stay around forever. And in fact, they tend to undo themselves. If we have profits, we tend to react in economic ways to increase production, decrease usage to the place where we tend to build up stocks, drive prices lower. And so that's probably what happened in 2013, 14, 15. Well, now we're in 2016, and so we have low prices. And what's that doing? It's giving signals to discourage production, probably to increase usage. And eventually, absent a major drought or something, these forces in themselves would tend to undo the low price situation, and at least lead us back to more of a neutral mode. But there is the risk this year, probably more than normal, of a change in this prevailing El Nino weather pattern to something along the lines of a La Nina. Again, we've had respected ag climatologists come to K-State and discuss this at length. So that risk in itself may afford us, that uncertainty in the market may afford us with some pricing opportunities for both old crop and maybe even new crop as once we get out into June, July, and August of this year. I think this is a year, marketing-wise, to play small ball, and in terms of to view 25, 50-cent gains in cash prices as something to take advantage of, at least to the place where they can fulfill their cash flow needs. And then to keep in mind too that out into the summer time frame when everybody else in spring and summer is busy with field work and wherever, just that that inability to deliver grain in a timely manner on many people's part will probably give some opportunities for folks that are positioned with their trucks and their bins to be able to move grain. So it's really a time when close attention to whatever moves are out there on the one hand, and I guess a tightly wound management to be able to take advantage of delivery points wherever they may be in quick manner when everybody else is too busy, probably will be a big issue this year moving off into the spring and summer months.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. And I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities, and it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. A high-energy, drought-tolerant crop, sorghum only requires 6 inches of water to produce the first bushel. And with its wide uses and easy adaptation, sorghum proves to be a truly indispensable crop. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
So I'm Doug Shoup. I'm the Southeast Area Agronomist for Kansas State University, and I'm here today to talk to you about some cover crop research that we've been doing in Kansas over the last several years. This was a project that was funded by the Kansas Soybean Commission last year, but we had started this project in 2011. It was a corn and soybean rotation. We wanted to look at the impacts of cover crops on soybean. And so what we've found over the last several years is that we can get some yield increases from cover crops, but we can also get some yield decreases in cover crops. The more we learn about cover crops in all of our research in Kansas is that water plays a pivotal role in the performance of the following crop after a cover crop. And so in the years that we had cover crops in 2012, for instance, it was really dry, and we saw a couple bush loss in soybean production. 2014 was a little bit different. We had more moisture, and so we actually had a couple yield increases from cover crops. And so really, when we look at a lot of our soybean data over the last 5, 6, or 7 years of doing cover crop research, it's some positive, some negative, but in general, it's about neutral. Now, the things that I preach to producers, and I feel like they're doing this already, is that cover crops do cost money, and if a producer is going to make money back on their cover crop investment, a good way to do that is with grazing livestock. And we have separate research studies showing that when we graze cover crops and we pull those animals off early enough in the winter, allow that ground to freeze and thaw, we don't really have a compaction problem, for instance, and we haven't seen any yield differences between grazed and ungrazed cover crops and then the soybean crop the following year. Now, some recent questions that I have had over the last several years is that we've been combating herbicide-resistant weeds pretty severely in Kansas, and one of the biggest weed problems has been pigweed. And so when we think about an integrated weed management approach to try and keep us from getting herbicide-resistant weeds, cover crops can be an integral part of that system. We find that with the higher biomass producing cover crops, that we actually suppress weeds more, and we actually have a research project on Palmer amaranth where we have shown higher biomass does a significant suppression in Palmer amaranth the following season. And so we're not relying solely on the herbicide. You can actually incorporate other things like row spacing in crops, but in this project you can also incorporate things like cover crops, and they do actually provide some additional benefit from a weed standpoint. Now, similarly to Palmer amaranth, we also have seen the same thing with mare's tail. Mare's tail is another weed that producers in Kansas fight quite often. And we've also had some research studies conducted in Manhattan that shows very similar results, where we have a higher biomass producing cover crops like cereal rye and winter barley. And even winter wheat, for example, actually do a pretty decent job of suppressing mare's tail. Some of that's confounded by when the mare's tail actually germinates, but if that cover crop can get planted and get up before the mare's tail has a chance to germinate, it's going to do a really nice job of suppressing mare's tail as well.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
AGam in Kansas is brought to you in part by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Don't be a Chicken Little. That's CattleFax's advice to producers when it comes to cattle prices.
And really, every single expansion we went through in the 80s, 90s, and the limited one we had in the 2000s came as demand was declining. This is the first time we have an opportunity to expand the beef cow herd in an increasing demand environment. Really the first time since the 70s. That's a little foreign to producers. A lot of us don't remember what happened in the 70s. And so reminding them that, yeah, prices are going to make a correction, but that doesn't mean that the sky's falling. We don't need to be Chicken Little. We don't need to panic. What we need to do is look for the opportunity that's there.
Much has changed since the last expansion phase, and that bodes well for everyone in the beef community.
We're producing the highest quality grade that we have since the early 90s. And one of our big focuses as a beef industry today is who's that next consumer? Who's that next generation beef consumer? And today it's the millennials. Well, if you think about a millennial being born from 1980 to the mid-90s, that means that they're sitting here today eating the highest quality beef that they've ever had in their lifetime. And that presents a lot of great demand opportunities for us going forward.
And what if all cattlemen and women aim for even higher quality? Even better for the future, says Lance Zimmerman.
We're not going to saturate the high quality market. I don't think that's possible. What it's going to do is it's going to buy us more opportunities. It's going to give us a consumer that's going to be more willing to pay at a price point that's $5, $6 a pound, where maybe in the past they'd have balked at that because we didn't have the quality return that necessitated paying that higher price.
This is a case where success begets success, he says. I'm Bob Cervera.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. To see this show and past episodes of AGam in Kansas, go online to agaminkansas.com.